Many of you know Chuck Bender from his days at Popular Woodworking magazine or for his many years teaching how to build period furniture. His website, acanthus.com, is full of videos and articles you should definitely check out. Recently, he built a hand tool wall panel, which is typical of Chuck. No pegboard for him, and even mitered corners weren't good enough. He used mitered finger joints, which look like regular miters from the front, but they're incredibly strong. Today, I'll show you his simple process for making these complex joints. Of course, they begin as basic finger joints cut at the table saw. I assume you know how to make finger joints, but if you don't, I'll put a link below to a video on Chuck's website where he shows you how to make the jig and to cut the fingers for this joint. I'm going to concentrate on the mitered portion, but I would point out that each corner of your frame includes one side that has a fat double thick finger that was created by simply skipping the last pass on that half of the finger joint. This fat finger will be facing the front of the frame where the miter will be located. You'll need fat fingers on both ends of your two horizontal parts and a full set of regular fingers on both ends of your two vertical parts. It's important to keep track of the orientation of these parts throughout this process, so after the fingers are cut, lay the frame out on your bench, just as it would be when you assemble it later, with the fat fingers up. Now use a square to draw 45-degree lines across each part at each corner to help you remember the direction that you will cut the miters. Return to the table saw and set your miter fence to make a 45-degree cut. Install a regular saw blade and set the depth of cut to the thickness of one finger in your joint. In this case, that meant the blade is a 1/4 inch high above the table. Note the line on the miter fence that indicates where the edge of the saw kerf will be. You can put the corner of your workpiece on that line and ensure that each miter cut will run from corner to corner across the joint. You're merely cutting along the lines you drew. This is no different from any mitered frame, except your cuts will only go halfway through the fat fingered ends, and they will go all the way through one finger on the skinnier finger ends. Each corner of the frame requires 2 cuts, one with the fence angled in one direction, the other with it angled in the opposite direction. I recommend making all the cuts in one direction first, then swapping the fence for all the cuts in the opposite direction rather than angling the fence back and forth. Just use the lines you drew to help you remember which piece gets cut in which direction. When your cuts are finished, assemble one of the corners the best you can. It won't fully fit together until you finish trimming the fat finger. Use a sharp pencil to mark the underside of the top skinny finger on the end grain of the fat one. Stand the fat finger piece on end in your vise and cut straight down on the waist side of your pencil line. Leave the line in place or you'll have a gap in your joint. You can always test the fit and then go back and shave some more material off with a plane or a sharp chisel until the joint fits together perfectly. Repeat for all 4 corners and you're ready to assemble your mitered fingered joints. Again, this is a great joint for any mitered box or frame because it is far stronger than a regular miter. Don't forget to check out Chuck's blog at the links below this video. See you next time. MyWoodcutters.com is the sort of small business I like to support. Stefan is a great guy, and he can find you knives and cutters for almost any joiner, planer, shaper, or molding machine. And his are the best prices if you're planning to upgrade to a helical carbide cutter head. Please use the link below this video to check with him before you buy somewhere else. Some small businesses are just worth supporting. Wait, don't go yet. If you're new here, please subscribe and remember to ring the bell. I would really appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up, or better yet, leave us a comment. I always read them. And be sure to check out the latest issue of Stumpy Nubs Woodworking Journal. It's always packed with tips, tricks, and tutorials designed to make you a better woodworker.